What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the video. Make sure you leave a comment. Comments are down, but we're going to respond to all of them. Got a guy on today, man, that's been through some shit in prison, got out, turned his life around. He can tell his story better than I can. Max, tell the people who you are, talk a little bit about your TikTok, and then we're going to get into prison and what life was like being in a gang.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Max Strong. I'm down here in South Florida. I was a prior member for Unforgiven for 10 years, which is a white supremacist group in the Florida prison systems. After I got out this last bit, I've been to prison 5 times in 2 different states. When I got out this last bit, I really wanted to make a change in my life. And so I renounced my affiliation with Unforgiven, covered my patch. Actually, a brother covered my patch for me. So I was in really good standing whenever I left and under honorable terms. I have a fitness over addiction channel that is located on TikTok and is to make a positive impact on other people's lives and how I use fitness to overcome obstacles and challenges that I face every day as the stigma applies to all felons.
That's what's up, man. I know you're doing positive things. We're going to put that TikTok stuff in the description. I want to talk a little bit about how old you were when you first went to prison. I know you've been in Florida prison. You've been in Alabama prison, which is extremely violent and dangerous. But how old were you when you caught your first bid?
So I was 16 years old when I caught my first set of violent charges, aggravated battery with deadly weapons. I got out on bond about 6 months later. I did a drive-by. So I was sentenced as a youthful offender at the age of 17 in 1999. I got 4 in, 6 out. And as a youthful offender, they can't sentence you to over 10 years. However, they can send you to an adult prison.
Let me ask you a little bit about Unforgiven. That's kind of like a white gang down there in Florida, right? Tell the people how that started and why it started.
So Unforgiven was started around 1986 across city by 6 guys, and it was created to fight back the oppression of whites. At that time, it was predominantly blacks and Latinos, and they were using their numbers, their influence, and their power to oppress the white dudes, man. And so some of the stand-up honkies, man, they got together and they were like, man, we're fucking over this shit.
Talk about the oppression, like what was going on in that system back then? Booty bandits, stealing people's stuff, what was going on?
Yeah, man, it was more than just that. It was more than just the booty bandits. I mean, these guys were running around in fucking constant fear, mainly because the white guys were not clicked up in numbers. There's power in numbers. And so these guys were running around solo. And so, yeah, they're getting their shit took. They're getting fucked in showers. They're getting fucked everywhere. Excuse me about using the language, guys. But yeah, they were getting raped in prison and they were getting put down on. They were getting extorted. It was miserable for whites.
So you guys come together, you put your little alliance together, and what happens now? Are you guys like helping the white dudes that aren't going to fight back, or is it just the dudes that are going to stand up for themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. That's just how it goes, man. If you're not willing to stand up on your own 2 feet, then you're going to suffer the consequences. If you're willing to stand up on your own 2 feet, yeah, we'll stand shoulder to shoulder with you.
Definitely a dangerous prison system down there in Florida, right?
Again, it all depends on where you're at. Some places are cupcake, and then some places are definitely, hell on earth, man.
So you can end up in a prison. I mean, it's the same thing in New York, right? You can end up in prisons where it's kind of laid back, you're good, but you can end up in some very dangerous places. Same thing in the feds. I did 18 years in federal prison, but you can go to like a low, you can go to a camp, you can go to some medium FCIs, and it's laid back. But when you get to that penitentiary level, things get real. And in the feds, they call it putting in work when you have to do something. Were you ever in a position where you had to do that in that Florida Department of Corrections?
So putting in work, there's different levels to it. You could just be running across compound to go collect debts. You could be running across compound to go drop off dope. You could be going to extort pedos and chomos. You could even, here's some work right here. If you can go pull a female officer in order to get contraband in the gate, that's putting in work, just a different type of work, right? And then the other work is taking patches. It's got to be done. I was not put in a situation. I put myself in a situation in which I felt like it was an opportunity for me to make a name so that I could grow in the organization and so I could get my patch. And so ultimately we had a guy that had checked in from another compound who ended up coming to the compound I was at. This time I'd been transferred to a different part, which was the max security, because I just kept doing dumb stuff. And so I was the only one over there. So I received the kite saying this guy was a check-in, needed to be taken care of. Well, there's supposed to have been a vote taking place. Well, I went over the vote and went ahead and $150 a patch.
You say buck 50 a patch. A lot of, some of the viewers might not know what you're talking about. Tell the people what you mean by that.
So buck 50, man, is just a simple razor blade that has been broken out of a big razor blade. You put it in a pin cartridge, and that's pretty much it. That pin cartridge actually hold that blade in place, and then you go take a swipe.
What, on his chest, on his face?
So his happened to be on his back. So as he's coming out of the shower, he's got his towel around his waist. He has to walk right past my room in order to go to his room. When he first came to the dorm, he didn't even introduce himself. So that was already a red flag. That was already indication that he was there on some sideways stuff, right? And so as soon as you hit a compound, the first thing you do is you seek out the members of Unforgiven. You shake up with your brothers, and you provide any news if there's any news to be had. He didn't do any of this. So I had already had the feeling that this guy was suspect. But when I received the kite, that's when I knew it. I should have sent it across compound to get confirmation that I should do something about it, and I did it. I was scared to death. I knew I should have done. I needed to do something. And so, yeah, so I took care of that. And I'm going to tell you right now, that was like one of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Terrifying. Why? Are you worrying about the consequences that could come from it as far as like maybe going back to court? Maybe you could kill this dude on accident. I mean, are you thinking about that stuff? Or are you thinking, damn, your adrenaline's pumping, like this dude might fight back. He might stab me. What's going through your mind at that time?
All of the above, Chad. Everything you just said is everything that goes through your head. Every possible consequence. Because at this time, man, I really didn't want to put in work like that, but I knew you had to, because that's just part of the game. But yeah, everything that you just stated right there goes through your mind, man. Possible consequences, maybe never getting out of prison again. What happens if he fights back? If he's fighting back for his life, that's a different type of fight. He's somebody who's fighting for their life.
Yeah, I mean, bad things can happen, right? Unexpected things happen. And, there's a lot of young dudes that go to prison and they feel like, man, my life's over. But really, they only got 4 or 5 years. And I see it a lot with young dudes who are like, man, this is my life. I'm going to be a prisoner. And really, they're not thinking beyond the 5 years that when they're going to get out of prison. That you can still have a life. You can change your life. You don't really have that much time. But some of these dudes just go extremely hard for the gang or the organization that they sign up for. Were you ever in that mind frame?
All right. So at first, yes. I was putting in a lot of work as far as like fighting and putting down on people. But when it came to, actually coming to, having to put a buck 50 on somebody, that's when my mind was like, damn, this is real, dude. This is real. And, after that moment, it becomes easier, which is terrifying. You become more comfortable with using a weapon like that in prison. And again, like you were talking about, I was a JIT at the time. I considered myself a JIT at the time because I'd been in prison so many times that I really didn't develop and mature into an adult because I didn't have those adult responsibilities. I've been taken care of my whole life pretty much in prison. So I still had that JIT mentality, and that was, I can't see further past than yes or tomorrow or the next week. And like I said, that was only that was a 5-year bid, but at that time in my life, I thought prison was going to be what I was going to be in and out of prison for the rest of my life.
There is a stigma that some, younger guys think that prison is cool. They see these prison movies. They think dudes are out there working out. And I mean, you're a pretty brolic dude. Dudes are out there working out. They're kicking it. They're walking around and they feel like, yeah, man, this is it. And then when they get to prison, they're like, damn, man, this shit really ain't like the movies. This shit is real. It's not something to glorify, right?
So there's two sides of that, right? I do not regret any of the time that I did. It made me in who I am today. I actually consider it an asset because of the way that I'm able to be grateful and appreciative for that which I have today, that which I've earned. And so I don't take away anything, any of my history and any of my experience from prison. Do I recommend it to anybody? Hell no. Trust me, being away from your loved ones and seeing that look on your face, on your daughter's face whenever she comes to visit you and knowing that she's got to leave again and she can't take her daddy with you, that shit burns, man. That shit burns. And also knowing that you're stuck with a bunch of hard dicks for, the duration of your time while you're there, dude. That's not cool, bro. That's not cool.
Life experiences, man. That's what I call it, right? You go to prison, man, but you do learn things. And sometimes people come out, a lot of times people come out better people. But sometimes, like you talked about earlier, and this is probably going to be part of the message today, is sometimes you grow physically, but you don't grow mentally. You got guys that are 35, 36, 40, 50 years old. They've never grown up here. They've grown physically, but never up here. I mean, you look at dudes, you're like, damn, this dude's acting like a 17-year-old. He's acting like I used to do that shit when I was 17. Argue with people on, the telephone I mean, now they do it on Facebook and YouTube and whatever, but you have to grow up at some point in life, right?
Yeah, definitely. And again, it's all about a mindset where you want to go in life and what you want to do with your life. You can continue remaining as a jitterbug in prison and just wilding out, but at the end of the day, you'll have nothing to show for it, man. You'll look back on your life with nothing but regret, and I refuse to do that.
I know you're definitely doing good things, but let me ask you this because I want this to resonate with people. What's something that really sucked about being in prison, man?
Oh, man, what really sucked about being in prison, man, is being talked down to by the CEOs. Even though you've earned and garnered respect, they'll still come down and you'll still have that asshole that will just talk to you any old way. And that burns. As a man, you don't want to be taught like that. Not being able to do that what you want to do, not being able to go see a sunset on the beach, not being able to watch the moonrise, not being able to be with a female, not being able to raise a family, being a productive member of society, growing a business and actually seeing things come to fruition. There's so many things out there that people want to do with their life, man. I can't imagine anybody growing up and saying, you know what I want to do, man? I want to live a life in prison. Those are not your dreams and aspirations as you're growing up. And so why is it that we, confound ourselves into living a life like that when everything's based on a decision? Everything's based on a choice, man. So why do you make the choice? Why do you make the decision that's going to lead you to prison?
Sometimes we're caught up in the streets, right? And we're struggling, financially messed up. We're like, man, I'm going to hustle. I'm going to do this. I'm going to rob this dude. And then it doesn't work out. Then things just get extremely worse, right? Once you get to prison, you think things are bad in the street, but when you get to prison, it just gets worse, right?
Yeah, but for some, I've noticed this, right? It's a huge relief for some, especially that are in addiction. I've seen people who were like in the trenches of addiction and they consider it like a dark hell, an abyss. Prison saved lives. I mean, truth be told, man, prison has definitely saved lives. But knowing this right here, man, as bad as things could be on the street, you lose all control over your life when you go to prison. The only thing that you can do in prison is that which they offer you, whether it be a trade, a GED, maybe some personal development. That's all you can do. Out here on the streets, you can choose that what you want to do. And the information is there to learn anything.
No doubt. You talked a little bit about, like putting in work different ways, like pedophiles, things like that. So the pedophiles are just living in population over there, or dudes like letting them stay? And the feds, like if you come to a maximum security prison and you're a pedophile, you're not staying. They don't want to extort you or none of that stuff. They just want to destroy you. How does it work in Florida?
Again, different camps, different groups, depends on what their approach is. Some guys, they'll just go all out and they'll just smash them, and then you got some guys who are looking to extort them, run them dry, then they'll end up smashing them, dragging them up to the officer station and getting them out. So what's interesting enough, though, is that some of these guys will try to lie below the radar, or try to fly in underneath the radar, but they don't know it, man. But typically, face sheets come out and they get passed around. That's kind of how it is. The majority of the camps I've ever been at is as soon as you hit the compound, and they don't realize it, they think they're going to fly under the radar because they don't want to go to PC because they have some type of man card still attached to them, even though you've done some really foul ass shit. And you're not a man no more. You're a pure coward whenever you prey upon the weak and the innocent and the elderly and children.
Dudes will just take advantage of them. Either you might just smash them right away or take advantage of them, and eventually they get smashed anyway in the end, right?
Yeah, definitely. Now, I have seen one or two guys who were protected by maybe the G's or the Bloods for quite a duration of time, several years that I've seen where that guy's got protection. And even though sometimes you'll step over, give them a slap. That wasn't me. Like if they were protected by another group, I'm not trying to create a race war. I'm just being honest right here. This is the politics of it. And so I won't go mess with them. I'll go do my own time. And it was only for probably about 2 years in which I really targeted pedophiles and chomos, and I gave them hell, man. I tortured them. But after that, I had to fall back because I began to become a decision maker, and you got to pass those responsibilities on to other people.
When we talk about stuff like this, I hope that there's people that are watching, right, that are like, damn, man, they're on the verge of doing some shit they shouldn't be doing, and they're like, I don't want to go to prison because all the prison stories that I heard, that shit really does happen. I hope that it resonates with someone that's watching that might be on the verge of doing some bullshit.
So I'll tell you like this, man. If you see yourself in a financial distress, there's always going to be another way out. And I'll tell you
Talking
right
about,
now.
I'm talking about the pedophile dudes.
Oh, yeah, dude. To be honest with you, I don't think they have a choice, man. They're screwed up, dude. I think mentally they're scarred. They have a sickness. I don't even consider it a disease. I consider it some type of evil within them. I don't think there's a cure for them. If you really want to know what I think the cure is, I've got 2 daughters, and I really feel like, one strike, it's it, you're done. You don't even deserve a place on this planet.
There's a lot of people like that, man. And now that there's, cameras and social media and, computers, a lot of this shit's coming out where these people are just doing vicious, vicious things. And like you said, man, kids are definitely innocent. But I want to talk a little bit more about what you're doing today with your life, man. How long have you been out of prison?
So October 19th, 2019 is whenever I was released. I moved down to South Florida to get away from Panama City. It's the best move I ever did. I moved in with my girlfriend. We were on a mattress on the floor, ran in a room. We didn't even have access to the kitchen. We didn't have washer or dryer. We washed our we washed our dishes in a shower. We used a 12-inch electric skillet and a microwave and a mini fridge. That's how I started, approximately 2.5 years ago. Now I'm doing pretty good, Chad, doing pretty good. So I'm operations manager for a contracting company. I've got my own side business. NFA Building Solutions means not effing around. And I've got this TikTok account called Fitness Over Addiction. It's really starting to pop off, man. I want to make a positive impact in people's lives. Ultimately, I want to make a change, especially to the youth, especially those people who are like considering, all right, what am I going to do with my life and how do I level up? And to me personally, I believe it begins with the physiology, not just the psychology. Psychology dealing with the mind, the physiology dealing with the body. Even Tony Robbins talks about this, man. The interesting thing about your body, right, is that wherever the body goes, the mind follows. Okay. And so I'm using that platform of fitness in order to overcome obstacles and challenges. As you begin to create a new you're redefining who you are so you overcome those obstacles that you face every day. And with this new you have a new self-confidence. And you now believe in yourself because of these small wins that you're getting out of the gym. When you start seeing that you can do this, I can do this, and I can do this, it begins to create new neural pathways. It's all science, man. And with these new neural pathways, you begin to gain this confidence and you start accepting these new challenges. And with these new challenges come new opportunities. And with these new opportunities, you become successful.
That's what's up. That's what people need to understand, man. You can walk out of prison and you could be living on a mattress, washing your dishes in the shower for the rest of your life. Or you could say, you know what? I'm going to put 1 foot forward. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to achieve some stuff. I'm going to set some goals. It might be a 2-week goal and then a 2-month goal and then a 1-year goal and then a 2-year goal. And you can end up doing the things that you're doing. I mean, I've seen when we first got on the camera, man, you're not living on the floor on a mattress no more. You're living in a pretty nice house. You got your business going. And people need to understand, man, that you can change your life. But it all comes from up here. What decision are you going to make today? You going to put on them work boots? You going to strive to do better? Are you going to have a goal and say, man, I'm going to get this? And it's obvious that you're doing that, man.
And what's crazy is a lot of people judge your success on the material items that you have, right? Not just that, what you're doing for yourself and for people around you. And if we were to judge, how successful you are, coming off a mattress just 2.5 years ago, bro, I got a 2022 Road Glide out there in the garage. I got a F250 2018. I got more electronics. I got a Rolex sitting over here on my desk, and life is good, bro. Life is so good, man. But you just got to go out there and know that it's going to be hard, man. It really is. It's going to be difficult at first. But like you said, you put 1 foot in front of the next and you're going to end up catching momentum. And when that momentum catches up, man, and you look back and you see how far you've come, and you're like, damn, I can do this, man. And the thing about it is, I'm no smarter than anybody else, man. I don't even have a high school diploma. Never been to college. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's real, man. I got a GED in prison when I was 17 years old. Man, I don't have an education, bro.
I understand. I didn't really have a formal education. I got a college degree while in prison. But now that you're out, you're living your best life. What do you love about being free?
Oh, man, there's so much to be grateful for. You know what I did this morning, Chad? This morning, I went out to the beach. I watched the sunrise and I prayed. And it's only been like for the last week that I really started believing in a God, right? And as I watched that sunrise and I reflected on where I've been at, where I'm going, and just being appreciative and grateful for everything, I cannot waste this opportunity at freedom, right? And knowing that nobody is holding me back except myself. If you're in prison, you've got about 80 officers that are holding you back from your potential. You've got the razor wires surrounding you. You've got about 30 assholes surrounding you also telling you can't do this or can't do that. And it's a wonderful feeling, man, out here knowing that you can do anything with your life if you want to, regardless if you're a felon or not, man. Because I've got I've got drive-bys, gun charges, aggravated battery with deadly weapons, burglary of an occupied dwelling. Bro, you won't believe this, dude. I've got twacked out on bath salts back in 2011. I was that guy, right? Yeah, stripped down butt naked, ran through 3 privacy fences, dove through a bedroom window, scared the hell out of the people that were living there. And I knew them personally because they were my neighbors. And this is a really nice gated community because at one time I was doing all right in my life. And at that moment, I thought my life was over with. And that wasn't it. That wasn't the case, man.
Glad to see you living a good life. I know you got to go. Your time is short today, but maybe we'll end up doing a part 2. But that's what it's about today, right, Max? It's about opportunities. When you're in prison, you have very limited opportunities. When that prison door opens, you have a world full of opportunities, and it depends on what you do with them. And obviously, you went out there and you did something with them. I'm trying to do something with the opportunities. And there's a lot of dudes that get out of prison that just get down on themselves like, man, I'm not shit, man. I'm going to stay living this life. I'm going to stay stuck in whatever they're stuck in, maybe an addiction or maybe gossiping, talking about other people. And really, they're not seeing, man, that this road is much bigger. There's a lot more opportunities. You can do a lot more when you're doing positive things rather than negative things, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm going to tell you what's crazy. I just did 2 bodybuilding shows just last month, man. I never thought in a million years I would be living this kind of life. And it's just, again, I go back and talk about fitness because of what fitness has done for me. Anybody can utilize fitness. That's how beautiful it is, man. Anybody can utilize fitness to improve their quality of life. If you're having issues, whether it be anxiety, depression, addiction, or just, you want to level up in life, man, go find a gym, join that community, ask people questions. I promise you, it's going to pay out, but you got to stick it out. When it gets tough, you just know you're getting close to whatever it is you're looking for. When shit gets tough, that's when you know you're fixing to hit it.
Sure. So I'm going to close the show, man, and let you know, Max, I definitely appreciate you coming on the show, sharing your stories, sharing your experiences. And, man, I wish you all the best. I'm going to tell people, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the video. With respect, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.